terms of process here down the final 7 games, potentially leading into the playoffs?
It's very simple. It's very simple. I think we all recognize the magnitude of each game and the urgency with which we have to play each game. I think once you get to the playoffs, anybody who's been there, and we have a bunch of guys that have won championships and a bunch of guys that have made deep playoff runs, the urgency you have to play with on each possession, that's what's exhausting about the playoffs. It's a mental, physical, and emotional toll because you have to be locked in on every single possession. Not to say that good teams aren't locked in 90% of the possessions in the regular season, but we've got to do that over these next 8 games. We've got to build our playoff mentality, and it's got to be tonight because this team in particular, they're really good. They're really physical. They're really athletic. They're big. And what they've done throughout the season is they've beat you up by winning the possession battle. They're the best offensive rebounding team in the league by a large margin. They turn you over. They get deflections. They get steals. They get out in transition. They're typically winning the scoring opportunity battle every night. I think they're number 5 in the NBA. And they do that by valuing each possession and being intense and physical on each possession.
When you and Luka were teammates in Dallas, he was averaging about 1 catch-and-shoot 3 a game. With you guys, he's close to 3. That number has, from that time in Dallas to now, it's just risen season by season. As we talk about the offensive continuity, him, Austin, and LeBron, getting settled, how important is that part of his game, taking those shots off the catch and the rare opportunities that he gets them?
Yeah, I think it just it keeps us within the flow of our offense. And I think there's times where he can probably shoot it and he doesn't. And there's, like, LeBron had one the other night in Chicago where we created an advantage and he got a corner kick out and he passed it up and we didn't score on that possession. Like, the flow of the offense, once the advantage is created and the good shot is created, you got to take those. And I think for Luka, I would be curious to see sort of like some lineup stuff there. But if you think about Dallas, the emergence of Jalen Brunson, then playing with Kyrie and now playing with LeBron and Luka, like, he's playing with other guys that can create advantages so he doesn't have to create everything for himself.
Hey, JJ, what do you think Jackson has done to be prepared for an increased role throughout the course of this season?
I think just the commitment to trying to get better every day. Ralik has done a great job with him throughout the season. He's very receptive in film, in his PD work. He's very receptive to our coaching in front of the group in film. I think that the growth mentality that he's had this year has been really awesome. And, I've told him this a number of times over the last week or so. He's so important for us if we're wanting to win at the highest level. He's got to be elite, and that's not to put pressure on him because he has guys that can take that pressure off of him, but we need him on the floor. We need him to stay out of foul trouble. We need him to lay off the referees. Like, he's got to be locked in, and he's been that. He's been awesome for us.
JJ, to step away from the game tonight just for a moment, for you and the organization yesterday to host the Kids Clinic, I know you've spoke with Dan about it, and a few others, but what was that like for you, and just to be in the thick of it on the professional side and the job you're looking to do, to kind of have that moment yesterday?
I would describe it as joyful. Our community staff from the Lakers did a great job, along with Kylie, who works on our staff, of planning that event. Lisa, who runs our building over there. Everything was just top notch. It made it very easy on the families and the kids. My coaching staff was very engaged, energetic, and I think we were all just like grateful to give a little bit of joy to some kids. Every single person that was there, I think we had 65 kids there, lost something in the fires, both in the Eaton fire and the Palisades fire. So it was just a moment of joy, and I felt that leading it, so it was good.
Coach, it seems Vando's gotten more and more comfortable as the season's progressed. What have you liked from his play the last couple of weeks?
I think offensively, he's done a really good job of pocket decision making. He's done a really good job of corner cutting. He had a great one the other night in Memphis. AR got an assist on Horn's toss, getting downhill, came out of the left corner, had the overhelp from Edey. I think just like the offensive playmaking has been really good with him. And defensively, he's had a couple games where, the Indiana game's a great example. Didn't score, but I think his work and his minutes on the defensive glass was huge for us. I think the biggest thing is, like, we've talked all season or since January when he came back in the lineup, like, we need him to be disruptive, but we need him to be disruptive in our schemes and our coverages versus gambling. And you can't, you got to find that balance, because you can't turn off the aggressiveness and the disruptiveness. I don't want him to turn that off. It's just about, being better, a little bit better about picking and choosing your spots. But I think he's been phenomenal for us.
Thanks, Coach. Coach, I know obviously it's just a couple of games here where the rhythm's kind of been found, but do you feel like now that you have the whole team kind of together and you're able to stack these wins against these top teams, that the team's kind of unlocking something, figuring it out together?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a rhythm. I mean, those are two very different games. I think the competitive spirit and togetherness, we had to play really hard tonight to put ourselves in a position to win the basketball game. We set a season high for catch and shoot threes with 29. A lot of those were uncontested. We were 2 for 16 on uncontested threes in the first half. I feel like, we left a lot on the table, and they did a really good job, I thought, of not allowing us at times to get the matchups that we wanted with some of their scrams. They have a great defense. They communicate well. They're big. They're athletic. They're strong. But we weathered some missed shots, did a good job of taking care of the basketball, limited them to 13 fast break points and 10 second chance points, made them play in the half court. Our guys really competed on that. They left everything on, they emptied the tank. They emptied the tank on the defensive end. It was fantastic.
JJ, Houston played some huge lineups, and I think you were small for a pretty good portion. What allowed those units to have success, and what's the key when you're in those formations against a team like that?
Well, defensively, it's just packing the paint and getting rebound. I think we did that tonight. LeBron 8 rebounds, Austin 8 rebounds, Lucas 6 rebounds, Doe 6 rebounds, Gabe 4 rebounds, Vando 6 rebounds. That's how we have to control the glass is by committee. This was very explicit. If you're on Şengün and Adams, you're not going to get the rebound. Your job is to box out. It's somebody else's job to come in, tip the ball to a teammate, or grab the rebound. We were great with that tonight.
When we were in Memphis, you told us that you liked the way that the team kept going to Dorian on the three-point line, even though he was missing some, and he hit a big one tonight. His best game offensively as a Laker. Have you had to coach him up to be able to keep shooting? For him, it's probably feels strange to shoot 11 threes when you have Austin and LeBron and Luka as teammates. Yeah. But do you have to kind of unlock that in him?
They should have been 14. He should have shot 14. He passed up 3. I think his teammates have a ton of confidence in him. We as a coaching staff have a ton of confidence. He needs gentle reminders sometime to keep shooting. And particularly, look, the type of shots that he gets, whether that's a corner 3 or a pick and pop versus a 5, they're open shots. We're not going to get a better shot. He has to be willing to unload the clip every night.
JJ, I know you kind of already touched on it, but it felt like they were really making a point to get the big 3, the ball out of their hands and into everyone else's hands, and you could tell that kind of by their field goal attempts. How did you feel like you guys handled that, and is this kind of like a reference point for the playoffs when you're playing teams that are probably going to try and do the same thing? Yeah,
I think, again, Houston, they have the personnel to do that. Our three guys that are our primary creators and shot takers, I thought just did a good job of being patient and taking what was there. And if they wanted the ball to find Gabe and Dorian, I think those guys responded well. They shot 12 for 24 from three. Again, it's just the willingness to take shots. And it wasn't just the two of them. Rui missed 5 threes that were open. Like we generated good stuff. It was very obvious that they were trying to take away Jackson's roles. They were loading to Bron. They were loading to AR. They were trying to not allow us to score in the paint. And then with their fives, just they never went to a switch, never went to a red. So it was just all pick and pop. And again, we want those guys taking those shots if they're there.
You mentioned pregame that tonight could be a significant step in terms of building the playoff mentality, this team's playoff mentality. How much of a step do you view that from tonight, and not just tonight, but also the Memphis win as well?
Yeah, I think if you lose those 2 games as reference points, it's a great example of how different games can be game to game. And in a playoff series, each game is its own thing because teams adjust and they decide what they're willing to live with, what they're trying to take away. I think particularly on the defensive end, the emphasis was on every possession and really valuing that. I think for the most part we did that, and that to me is what you have to do in the playoff series. Offensively, the game plan that a team is going to throw at you is different night to night, and I thought, again, our guys' just willingness to pass to each other, and the guys that were open took open shots.
JJ, in games of this magnitude, how important is it to have guys starting their roles like Doe and Gabe did tonight?
Well, I think it's not just in games of this magnitude. It's if you want to be a good basketball team, you need guys to star in their roles. And it goes back to the thing I've said a couple times, which is on bad teams, players reject their roles. On good teams, players accept their roles. On great teams, players embrace their roles. And we've had a number of guys that aren't the big 3 or whatever moniker you want to give AR, Luka, and Bron. But we have a number of guys on our team that have fully embraced their roles, and it's been the difference in our season.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Luka, first of all, it looked like you fell a couple times on that elbow. How's that feeling?
Terrible. Sorry. Yeah, but fine in 2 days.
Okay. JJ mentioned clearly, Houston was kind of selling out to prevent the lob to Jackson, certain things with you getting downhill or LeBron in Austin. Did you feel like the patience to get the ball to Dorian, get the ball to Gabe, cut it to your shooters, is that just how you have to play in that situation?
Yeah, definitely. Just do what the defense give you. They got to give you something at some point. So once we saw they're doing that, we were just telling those guys to shoot.
And just, I know you have the confidence from Dorian, going back for years now. Okay, well, fair enough. Your banter aside, with that level, and then how do you feel also just with Gabe and your other teammates now, and how comfortable are you with the rest of the roster as well?
Great, very comfortable. As you saw today we fought really hard. It was a very physical game, and we got to play like this every game. If we play like this on the defensive end, on offense, we didn't do much outside Gabe and Dodo, but we shared the ball. We were playing forward with pace, and we just got to play like that.
You like giving Dorian a hard time. You guys go back a ways as teammates, but what's it like trying to get him to shoot as many times as he did tonight? Do you have to encourage him some? And JJ was telling us that the looks he's getting are probably as good as the look you're going to get on the team. Do you have to kind of keep reminding him that please keep shooting?
No, I just told him today, if you don't want to shoot it, I'll shoot it. Honestly, you can ask him. I think he could have shot more. Even he was 3 or 4 times he was open, he didn't want to shoot it. So that's the only thing I told him, and he knows how I tell him.
Do you recognize though his maybe reluctance to do that, considering there is you and LeBron and Austin, like really talented offensive players, and he plays a team style of brand of basketball, like that you understand the why he maybe is not just looking to gun?
Yeah, but he talks shit in practice when he shoots with me, so I don't see why he don't want to do it in the game. But no, I mean, he's a great player. You know, those players you need on team. Never complain. Play 48 minutes, play zero. He's never gonna say a thing, and he's a fighter, man. Always love him. Always love how he plays, and just happy to be reunited with him.
Luka, JJ said with so few games remaining, you guys have started to talk a little bit more about seeding and the playoffs as a group, and that this point of the season is about ramping up for the playoffs and just that urgency. Have you felt that, especially these last couple of games against Memphis and Houston from you guys?
Yeah, definitely. You know, that was fourth in the West or fifth and second in the West. You know, those are potential playoff matchups, and we knew what we need to do. So I think that's how we play hard, and that we just went out and wanted to get a win.
Hey, Luke, on that note, what do you think it can mean with the group having to go through different ups and downs with close games as of late? What it could mean to you guys for the playoffs with getting ready for that?
What do you mean ups and downs?
Oh, well,
in the
just
game?
having some close games, you know, Indiana, Chicago tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many games. There's always going to be some close games, but you know, one we closed and one we didn't. So sometimes, you know, they make a half-court shot. There's not a lot you can do. But you know, those games that you lose like that build you up, and that helps the team, I think.
At this point in the season, how much do you pay attention to the standings and, you know, push for specific seeding, you know, as you guys close the regular season?
A little bit. Like, you know, we talk as a group mostly, you know, but we just got to go game by game. That's what I always say. You can't look forward. You got to go game by game. Every game is a different challenge, so just got to go game by game.
Hey, Luka. We see you cracking jokes, and the chemistry is definitely there on the court. Over the last couple of weeks / month and a half, how has your guys' chemistry grown off the court, especially over all these last couple of road trips?
Well, we didn't do even dinner yet. We had so many games, so we didn't have time for that. But, you know, out the court is great. Everybody, you know, we're joking in the locker room. Then when we need to lock in, we'll lock in. So the chemistry is a great point right now.
Thanks, Luka.
Thank you.
Dorian, what are the keys when you guys are playing small more often and you're having to defend up for a whole game? And what are the kind of main points of emphasis from the coaches, and how did you guys execute tonight?
When we go small, the main emphasis is boxing out. You know, obviously we small, but you know everybody, but maybe Gabe or AR is you know 6'5" and under. Everybody else 6'5" and up, but. No disrespect to AR. I don't know how tall he is.
6'5", yeah.
Yeah, he's 6'5", yeah. But you know, and then you know, make a decision, put him in pick and roll and pop, and just make the best read.
You were getting a lot of open looks on that pick and pop. But what's you know, it can be kind of a simple play, but what are the subtleties to it? What angles are you looking for, and how have you grown there?
No, just if the big guard me or Rui. We just put them in action. And tonight they was guarding me, so I got the shots. And I think last time we played him, he was guarding Rui, and Rui got the shot. So it depends on whatever the big gonna guard.
Luka told us that his advice to you, or I guess demand to you, is that, hey, if you're not going to shoot him, I'll shoot him instead.
Yeah, he kept telling me that.
Do you, because of the way you play, very team-oriented style game,
Yes,
does that encouragement help? Because it's not maybe your nature to take 10-plus threes a game.
For sure, especially, you know, I'm always want to make the right read. So if I see somebody running at me, I'm gonna make the swing. He like, bro, you hot player, shoot the ball, you know. So, you know, it feels good when, you know, guys like him and Brian telling me to shoot. You know, it could be the other way around. Shit.
Even with that encouragement, it's still, I don't know, I can't think of a better word than disorienting when you do look at the box score when you see.
I see people running at me, and I'm, you know, I want to make the swing, or, you know, I think for instance, we got a good look from Goody, but again, Luka like, bro, you just hit, you know, you made 5 threes. What are you doing? You know, so it's one of those, if it go in, yeah, but if you don't shoot it, they mad because you hot player. So, you know, I'm just happy they just kept finding me, though.
As a veteran, how much do you follow the standings this late in the season? And why and why
Everybody
not?
paying attention. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, come on, man. Everybody looking at the standings. We don't want to be in the play-in, so every game matters.
Dorian, I know obviously it's just a couple games, but now that the team's kind of fully together and they've won these games against these top talents in the West, what does it do for the team to grind out these kind of victories?
It was good. You know, JJ said tonight was going to be like a playoff game, and it was. It was low scoring. You know, we was in half court a lot, so you know, it was a great test for us, and I felt like we got better today.
Dorian, not just being able to take and make shots, but what goes into just being adaptable overall for the group?
I think that's one of the great things of my game. I can play with any team. I can gel well with anybody, especially when you got star power over here. And like I said, I'm just happy them guys was finding me tonight. I was rolling, and Gabe been hot player last couple games.
Thanks, Phil.
Yep, appreciate you.